Hello everyone, this is Ellie of Herbcraft by Ellie Apothecary, here for a tarot quest for the collective. If you'd like to skip the intro chit chat, check out the description box. I will timestamp where the reading really jumps in. For everyone else, thank you for being here. I hope you're having a great week. Happy early 4th of July to my fellow Americans, celebrating our independence. What does freedom mean to you? Here's a good intro question. Anyways, I just came out of meditation, so I'm kind of moving slow, but yeah, this is a collective tarot quest for my regular subscribers. I thank you for joining. Thank you if you consider subscribing if you enjoy this content. Also, if you like to have shorter form versions of this tarot quest, I always link those videos a few days after the original video is published in whatever the video's community post is. So I'll put that in the comments. Because these tarot quests tend to go an hour and a half to 2 hours, usually 1 hour 45 minutes-ish, tend to make about anywhere from 3 to 6 bonus videos out of each quest. So, you know, feel free to save this and watch it in doses later, or wait till those come out. And if you hit the notification bell, you will be notified when I publish. Make sure you put it on all notifications to not miss anything, or leave it on personalized and see what the divine surprise you with. Speaking of the divine, I'm a psychic medium empath. I channel for the divine, for source. I personally am an animist pagan, but I am a non-denominational channel, and this channel on YouTube is non-denominational, which means all faiths, all beliefs, and even atheists are welcome here. I figure, you know, you can get spiritual guidance even if you're an atheist. Just apply it to like your higher self. And if that's not your jam, I thank you for checking me out anyways. I'm building a community here, so I appreciate every single one of you. Anyways, I've got a few different decks to work with today. The moon is in Virgo right now. Let's start with the Cosmic Tarot per usual. If you don't want to hear the shuffling so loud, take off headphones or lower your volume. This is a tarot ASMR video. If I decide to work with any oracle cards, I will channel into those psychically and use the best descriptive audio I can manage. Also, whatever image this reading is also the image that will be in the community post, which I cross post on my IG stories and my Pinterest board about me. Thank you everyone who has patiently been waiting for this next quest. Took me a few more days than I had anticipated to get it out, but you know, everything I believe is within divine timing when you trust it. And I know, I have a sense like other intuitives when I'm supposed to put messages out and when I'm supposed to receive. I do call out every card, that way you don't miss anything, so fellow card readers can also follow along, read between the lines. Perhaps you'll find signs, synchronicities, or side messages. So when it comes to reading the cards, when I speak on gender or astrology signs, I'm talking about the energy that is represented in the card. I'm not talking about specific people. However, if it resonates as a specific person, by all means, apply it where it fits along with the rest of the reading. This is a collective tarot quest, which means there's going to be multiple groups in the collective that I will be working with today, depending on where spirit guides me. So if you have the patience, which most of my ride or dies in the community do, definitely just hang tight if the message isn't for you in that particular portion. And if you feel, if you're feeling generous, you know, send people energetic support. Interesting. The cards are doing weird things. Is anybody drinking any tea today? Or coffee? I made one of my shop brews. I've got close to 200 different dried herbs, roots, etc. that I can work with, because I'm an herbalist as well, hence my shop name. I started off really teaching people about the energetic blueprints of plants, which is what being an herbal witch is essentially understanding the energies of things, like an animist, right? If you believe spirit is in everything, everything carries a certain essence. And when we craft with these things, either medicinally or magically, we use those energies similar to the law of attraction. When you're using your thoughts to manifest a certain outcome, you are applying certain energies to certain items, right? And you know, it could be any different frequency, because material items can be affected by the environment and the people using, or energies using those items. I personally only work in the light. I don't know why I'm explaining this. I think somebody wants to know a little bit more about my practices or the craft. So I'll just share. I am a spiritual guide, and I do try to teach other people wisdom. But yeah, plants, just like anything else in life, your intention is really where it comes from, right? So you pretty much imagine the energy of something and the desired effect, and you meditate on it, right? You use certain corresponding material items, like for example, lavender is a classic, simple herb that people use. Okay, here's a way to break your brain as far as where the mundane meets the mystical. Aromatherapy is essentially witchery. And I don't say that to give high and mighty people power to be like, oh, see, it is of the devil. Because, you know, the devil is a state of mind. In my opinion, it's an energy just like anything else. And, man, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So yeah, it's all about how you use things, right? I forget where I was going with that. It doesn't matter. If spirit takes me down another thread, I'm going to follow it. And yeah, it's part of my charm. Enjoy the voyage. We're on a quest here, right? Right. Hey, if you hit that like button, I do pick up on your energy more. It's called energetic transference. Which means if you'd like me to pick up more on your reading, because this is a time, more on you in this reading, this is a timeless message, which means it applies to whoever, whenever, for their highest and greatest good, when they find it. Oftentimes we can also get additional messages that we didn't pick up on before by repeating, viewing a message, if you are called to do so. So I got quite a few cards here, but I'm debating if I want to speak on it or start fresh, to be honest, because I don't like to work with lower karmic energies, but I do trust, because I trust spirit, first of all, and I trust my discernment, which is a skill you have to acquire. And I hope that y'all will use your own discernment with these messages. Don't claim anything that doesn't feel right. release it, and do take what does resonate. Yeah, meditate on it, think on it. So I do believe that that eventually all is revealed, what is meant to be revealed, and I tend to transmute energies in life and in my readings. It's one of my spiritual gifts. So if anything seems negative, or it seems like we're dipping into the shadow or karmic energies or whatever you want to call them, know that there's a reason for it. And typically we come out the other side with some solid understanding, some clarity, or an idea of how to move forward, maybe some tips and tools you can work with it. I tend to get a lot of journal prompts, especially later in the reading once I'm really in the flow. But I don't know. Someone wanted to know more about this stuff. I feel like I'm rambling, but there is a reason. As far as circling back to the witchery, yeah, I started with all that, and it was part of my third awakening to go down the pagan path, and I discovered more of my spiritual gifts later in that journey. I incorporate astrology into all my readings because I am also a professional astrologer, and I have been studying for over 25 years. Yes, over 25 years. I've been doing this since I was a kid, and I used to get made fun of for it. But people still loved having their charts read, but I still got made fun of it for it, but that's all right. I've healed that wound in me. But now it's kind of fun, you know, I get to incorporate it here. Speaking of, I will be dropping my July Astro Highlights and Luna Notes plus Psychic Read on an Oracle for the month coming up in the next couple of days. So keep an eye out for that if you like following that. It's pretty much a verbal ephemeris. Wow. Okay. I feel like I was just like getting everybody situated. Again, I'm taking my damn time. And I've got a timestamp in the description box, and I let you all know if you wanted to skip chit chat, you could. Wow. This is interesting. I am going to share. I am. I don't know why Spirit's making me waste anybody's time. Maybe it's to weed some people out. Who knows? Okay. I guess I could give you an idea. I was kind of trying to gauge if I want to let this message come through. So, first things first, I think I will. I'm not working with any particular spreads. I am just reading intuitively. Sometimes I use rose. Anyways, as far as the witchery stuff goes, if you want me to do more content about that and help you understand how paganism is not the work of a devil, actually it's highly misunderstood, and I break stigmas about that. So I'll be talking about that more in the future. And I hope everybody understands that this is a safe place. This is a sacred space. And it is highly protected, and so are you. As am I, of course. So the moon is in Virgo. I don't know if I mentioned that. And also, it is the 29th of June. But again, timeless message. Whatever you need to hear for your highest and greatest good right now. So I'd like to ask everybody, take a deep breath with me. I'm going to chime my bell. Might take a second deep breath, but let's go. 1, 2, 3, deep breath in. Out. Bell. Deep breath in. And out. Alright, now we're ready to go. Cleansed and cleared that energy. I'm listening to my typical playlist, Divine with Me. All my links are in the description box, plus a disclaimer. Okay, no more delay, Spirit. Let's do this. So, 5 cards across, I have Justice in reverse, Prince of Wands in reverse, 9 of Cups in reverse, 5 of Wands, 2 of Swords. Below that, I have 6 of Cups in reverse sitting under the Prince of Wands and 9 of Cups in reverse. And then we have the 10 of Wands below the 9 of Cups in reverse and the 5 of Wands. Then we have the Death card under the 5 of Wands and 2 of Swords, followed up by the Princess of Cups. Which is the Page of Cups. Some of you have been following me, have learned how to put your burdens down, work with change, transmute using creativity. And for those of you that are figuring that out, I congratulate you and I encourage you to keep going. It takes you out of nostalgia that had you stuck. It helps you clear your mind and get away from these karmic cycles and people, things that were not fulfilling your cup, not making you feel like you had what you wanted in life. Also, putting an end to these highly combative people, blocking them out, yet being open to receive divine guidance. For some of you, you are learning from the consequences of your actions. You are currently either overcoming judgment. Judgment card isn't here, but I'm sensing it between the Death card and Justice in reverse. This has been a huge burden. Some of you, all you want to do is just like be like a child, laugh and play and have fun, and you're tired of fighting. You're tired of having to block certain things in your life. Some of you know that you have to make a great change in order to create and love in the way that you want to love. For some of you, this involves letting go of a relationship from either a past life, so a past soulmate that you have actually been with in this lifetime. Could also be a childhood love, or a long-term friendship, some kind of kindred spirit that you had to leave behind because something became karmic in the situation. Right, so when we say karmic, we're not talking about necessarily good or bad, but most people have a negative connotation associated with karma, right? People assume, oh, karma's gonna get you, which is true, but so is good karma. It all depends on your choices. And if you know that you're making good choices, or you're working on making better choices, you know that you are establishing better karma for yourself coming, right? And it doesn't always happen right away. Sometimes it does. If somebody has stacked up a lot of, negative karma, then I've noticed the divine like to wait until someone's really comfortable and think they've gotten away with something, and then it all comes crumbling down in one epic tower moment, which is huge, unexpected change that usually is highly disruptive in one's life. And in no way am I jinxing, cursing, hexing, or calling spells upon anyone. This is just a matter of universal law, okay? I work with universal laws. But it happens. It's the truth. You act like a bad person, well, you're going to end up with bad results. And good, bad, in between, it's all subjective based on your culture, based on so many different things that I don't feel like this reading is going to be about. Yeah, I just pulled the Empress card. The Empress is the ultimate divine feminine. It is somebody who has usually, again, gender, apply it where it fits, but it's a feminine, divine feminine energy, right? It is the ultimate master of all 4 queens in the tarot, so Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, Earth, Air, Fire, Water, symbolism. They each represent a different mastery of a grown-ass adult, okay? So it's like who we become after we have journeyed through the experiences of all the other court cards. And again, we all have feminine, masculine, and neutral energies, I like to add in there, among us, right? There's that liminal space, the neutral rules, that doesn't often get talked about. But I do talk about that. I also do that to be more gender inclusive, to include those that don't fit into the box or the lines of gender. So we also have transitory phases in our lives that express these energies in different ways, where perhaps at times we don't feel either active or receptive, which is masculine and feminine energy. I guess neutral could also be kind of you know, a blasé, like, not apathetic, it depends on your energy, but in between place in life where you're neither really receptive or active, right? So for some of you, this Empress represents you. It represents everything you went through in this cycle to become this Empress, these 4 queens that you have mastered. The journey is not easy. It's not typically something we are born into. Even people of privilege have to go through things in life. And it doesn't necessarily represent a person of privilege. When I say privilege, automatically most people think status and money in society, right? Class systems and whatnot. But it's a spiritual thing, it's a life thing, it's a soul thing, right? Because these readings are soul readings. Wow, just pulled the Queen of Wands. Speaking of witches in the tarot, some of you know how to manifest your own reality. It seems that some of you are coming out of this Queen of Wands energy and graduating. For some of you, the Queen of Wands was the last queen to master, I'm picking up for some of you. And again, a masculine could also be in their feminine energy, learning, because in order to be a truly higher spiritual being, operating for their highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of all, you have to master both feminine and masculine energies. So there'll be different periods of life where we have different energies we express, right? Just like with the birth chart, different parts of your chart will come out different parts of your life depending on not only what is transiting with it through the collective astrology, but also based on different phases you're in your life and different parts of your chart, different skills, different character traits that you want to bring out or you want to work on and heal. You can figure all this stuff out with an astrology reading, and yes, I do offer those readings as well. Description box. So the Queen of Wands is the battle queen. She is the one queen that will go to battle for you. It's possible some of you really battled for somebody in the past. I am picking up on a masculine who wasn't quite as far along on their journey. And again, apply it where it fits. But I'm looking here at the Prince of Wands in reverse. And a lot of people who read cards associate the Knight of Wands or the Prince of Wands, whatever you want to call it, with the player, with the one who can't really go to the distance, but likes to play around and, you know, keep their options open. But I often talk about the more spiritual meaning of this card, which is somebody who is on a spiritual quest. They're close to becoming a king and a master of their domain, which means they're getting close to the end of a spiritual quest. But they are a ranking below this Queen of Wands here, so whoever this applies to, this person wasn't really your match. I'm guessing for some of you it has to do with this person from your past. Six of Cups in reverse. Remember, we were talking about somebody from your past who you had a deep soulmate connection with, but it ended up not being personal wish fulfillment for you. In fact, it brought a lot of conflict, which is what caused you to become this Queen of Wands, to fight so hard to change. But it's the end. It's the end of the battle. You've become the Empress. For those of you that need confirmation, and I'm getting full body chills now, you have become the Empress. You have just graduated. Congratulations. You earned it by walking away from whoever this karmic person represents. It could also be a sibling. It could be a younger sibling or somebody who acts like a younger sibling, even if they're older. Maturity is a factor. But with the Prince of Wands in reverse, I mean, I was talking about the standard things people associate with it, and it's already not the best look, right? It depends. Some people like that, and, if that's what you like, that's what you like. We all go through different stages and phases in life. But it seems like whoever you are, who was a Queen of Wands and is now the Empress, it looks like you're ready for your Emperor. Or your fellow Empress, whoever, whatever, however you'd like to apply that. You're looking for your divine counterpart now. But I don't think you're quite ready to go there yet. So yeah, this Prince of Wands in reverse, that's even worse. That's somebody who will cheat on you, break your heart, ghost you. Is more focused on experiencing life and adventure than they are being there for you. It can represent a very selfish, destructive energy. Just really somebody you can't really trust. And somebody like that is not operating from their highest spiritual path. They're not on the spiritual journey, or they are, they just haven't hit their tower moment yet that is going to make them awaken. So it's possible they are on the spiritual path. Remember this. This keeps coming up in messages when I'm channeling, when I'm meditating for myself or for the collective. The thing about karmics, what you have to remember, because when we're casting judgment on other people for operating from their ego, we're actually operating from our ego and projecting that onto other people. And it doesn't mean your observations aren't true, but it means that you have an ego too. So remember this. This is from Spirit. If you are constantly judging others and being like, oh, they're just a karmic, they're a this, they're a that, remember that you were their karmic too. And I'm not saying that means that you did anything they did that hurt you. I'm just making a point of saying that there are lessons that both of you needed to learn. I've noticed, I don't typically do love readings or drop into karmic energies because I try to talk more about the spiritual path. That's who I am. But, just like everybody else, when I had first started watching tarot, I got kind of sucked into some of the lower vibrational energies because I didn't really know how it worked until I knew how it worked, and I studied the cards and taught myself and learned and all that. But, you can easily get caught up in the what ifs and who's doing what and why are they doing that, what do they plan to do, all that kind of stuff. And that in itself can become a karmic cycle to get stuck watching that kind of content. And I'm not saying that anybody who does that is not a quality reader. No, not at all. I actually have found certain readers who have amazing spiritual channels, spiritual insights, but they just like to do love readings from time to time, and that's cool because that serves somebody, and somebody has to do that, right? But one thing I've noticed is there's just so much judginess going on, and if you really consider yourself somebody on the spiritual path, you're not going to sit there being angry at people going, oh, well, they were just a karmic. Oh, they did this, they did that. Sure, you can do that. There is a time and place for venting when you need to. But when it becomes a cycle, you have to look at yourself and be like, am I still acting from my shadow now? That's time to check in and do the work with yourself. Somebody needed a lecture. I feel like whoever this Empress is that I'm talking about, you've learned that. You had to learn how to take yourself through some very hard times on your spiritual path and leave behind people who are not interested in that. And again, this could be masculine, feminine, or non-binary. Perhaps you are a more I'm not going to get into that, not right now. I don't actually try to speculate in my readings or project. I go into a state of consciousness that accesses the divine when I channel. Half the time I don't remember what the heck I'm saying in the readings until I review the recording later, and then I'm like, oh, okay, wow, I didn't even realize I was saying something like that, because it's the divine working through me. So I don't like to create storylines and speculate. When I go on a channel, it's because Source wants somebody to know something important, or it's going to awaken people to certain behaviors or traits, because I do tend to awaken people. Alright? But I'm not judging anybody. If it comes across as judgy, it's just the divine wanting you to know something that's for your highest good, okay? And if I ever speak on things not in a channel, I fully take accountability for anything I say, because I am an integral person. We do still exist. And yes, even witches can be integral people. Something I am advocating more and more for people to understand, to stop demonizing people of pagan faith. There was a time and place when Christians were demonized for, you know, Protestants specifically, and there was a time when Jews were persecuted. It's hell, they still are. There's still religious battles going on all the time. And I continue to spread this message from Spirit. The one thing we all have in common, no matter your religion, your spirituality, or your lack of, you know, interest in one particular road, is that we all have faith. Those of us that believe, we all have faith. And that is where Source, that is where the divine, that is where Spirit comes into the picture. So let me get back over here, since we went on this little adventure. The Lover's card on the bottom of the deck, so hidden. There is a new union here that is being hidden. There is something coming in for this Empress. It is a deep soul love. For some of you, you're not focused on that at all, because interestingly enough, the card flipped itself when I was shuffling. Pulled the Ten of Swords in reverse. Some of you are still very much stuck in what was done to you in the betrayal, or you're currently going through it. Some of you are having to dip back into the Queen of Wands and then rise back to the Empress. Dip back into the Queen of Wands, back to the Empress, which means you're still facing some kind of battle here that's keeping you stuck. And for some of you, you have you've decided to focus more on overcoming your healing before you even consider a union. Trust your gut, you know, follow it. Don't let anybody push you into anything if you're not ready, but also stay open-hearted and open-minded about possibilities. You never know where you're going to find or receive love, and that's not just romantic. That's friendships, that's acquaintance. I almost said acquaintanceships. Acquaintances, that's you know, work opportunities, that's rekindling family connections, different aspects of yourself, different aspects of spirit even. So you do what feels right to you. Yeah, Two of Wands. There's a portal opening here for some of you to make a decision on whether you want to go forward with a certain union or not. So back to those of you who are interested in a divine union, or coming into balance and harmony with yourself to be ready for such a thing. You're making a decision here. In fact, some of you have already set intentions and you know which road you want to follow. Others of you, there is a fork in the road here. So Spirit, what is this fork about? The Hierophant. Get one more. I saw Ace of Swords in the middle as I was shuffling. 10 of Cups in reverse. For some of you, you don't know if you are interested in ever having a deep long-term commitment with anybody. Maybe it doesn't feel true to you. Maybe some of you, whoever this energy that you left in the past, whether it's represented by the Prince of Wands or not, it's possible you were in a long-term relationship or on again, off again with this, and it really didn't make you happy. Maybe it's time to think about your truth. What does make you happy? What would make you want to commit to such a union? And to do that, you have to go inward. You have to take the time to heal, to focus on what is truly important to you. And if you are just coming out of a situation or a relationship or a friendship or a family dynamic or even a spiritual path and a certain community around that, you have to think about where you want to go for your personal happiness. Because again, you know, whatever this was, it didn't bring you personal happiness with the Nine of Cups in reverse. And I get the sense that some of you kind of knew that it wasn't going to from the beginning. That's just for some. Now I'm also picking up on this Prince of Wands in reverse. I feel like even that energy is subtly here, but the energy isn't as strong. But I feel like there's a message for you as well. If you are the one, and again, no judgment, but if you were the one who represents this Prince of Wands in reverse, I feel like some of you are fighting the lessons that the divine are trying to show you, and are thinking that you can run away from your karma with Justice in reverse. But some of you are realizing that this Queen of Wands person you were in a relationship with actually was the Empress the whole time. Maybe they didn't even see it, and that's why you couldn't see it, because oftentimes when we don't know our own value, neither do other people. That's something you have to learn for some of us, right? So it's possible that you underestimated this person you were with. Perhaps you weren't the most supportive or genuine, devoted person. Perhaps you knew that they were not your wish fulfillment, but you decided to go for it for whatever reason. I don't know why. But it's caused you some karma, and you are working through it, and you are also acknowledging you're probably, some of you, I just got a side message that some of you have actually had somebody recently betray you. And it kind of helped you understand maybe how you betrayed this person. I feel like for that energy, this happened a little while ago, not the betrayal, but the relationship. It isn't as fresh for you, but that something recently you experienced some kind of betrayal. And it's made you receive some of your karma. So, I'm going to move away from that. I certainly hope that you have learned the value of accountability, and also for being true to yourself and others. If you can make a commitment to others, just, you know, take accountability, and also know that you're not, and this is, some people are going to hate me for this, but you're not necessarily all bad either. There's obviously pieces of you that you had in common with this person. I mean, you're both fire energies for one. You're both in the same, like, active, fiery, passionate, creative energy. But I feel like whatever this was kind of knocked you down a peg. And I mean that with love and respect. But it gave you a little bit of an ego blow. So I feel like you're kind of going through it right now, whoever you are, and we all have to remember whatever lessons we're learning, that if we don't want to repeat those lessons again, we have to take the time to look at them and see how we can integrate them into our lives and do better. Just make a choice to do better. The Lover's card also represents a choice. Some of you don't want to make this choice because you like your lifestyle for whatever reason. And, you know, that's not for me to judge. But the divine, because the divine are always watching, like we are never alone. And I know that creeps some people out, but I am a psychic medium, so I talk about these things. And you got to know that, like, whether you think anybody's paying attention or not, the divine are. And for these Empress people over here, know that if you feel like justice hasn't been served with the Justice in reverse, we're going to go back to talking about that group. Not necessarily talking about the Prince of Wands anymore, but we're not necessarily not. The Empress, oh, some of you have got some major attitude. I'm starting to channel a little sass. And that's all right. Attitude is understood in all areas of this energy. But the Empress here, some of you may feel like justice hasn't been served, and that's why you have to keep going back into this Queen of Wands energy, like you have to fight. And maybe you feel like you need to fight for other people because nobody fought for you. That's for some. So Spirit, what kind of advice can we give this part of the collective? Let's start with the Empress, who doesn't feel like justice has been served in whatever situation this is. That's way too many cards. Thank you very much. But I did open, it landed on the 8 of Cups. For some of you, and I'm getting chills, walking away was your justice. What do I mean? Your karmic lesson was to see if you could walk away and choose yourself, which graduated you to the Empress. Wow, full body chills. That is definitely true for somebody. You have, by having the courage to not put up with things that don't make you happy, that you were fighting, but it kept making you feel blocked on your path, made you not believe in the possibility of having a long-term commitment, just like feeling like you had to choose another direction. This was your justice, having the strength. So if you haven't celebrated yourself, and that may sound lame, but again, anybody who's collected karmic debt are going to have to eventually pay for that debt, right? So you're not, I think the whole thing here is to continue investing in yourself, continue focusing on what makes you feel fertile, what you can grow. You know, be grateful where you have comforts in life maybe you didn't have when you were with this person or in this situation. Or again, this could represent a spiritual community that one branched off of, because wands often represent spirit. Wow, Ace of Cups, yeah. Pour into yourself with self-love, and also know that when you are ready, Spirit does have a love offer coming to you. What does that mean? It means that there is something on top of this karma walking away. You'll be walking towards some kind of divine love when you are ready. And you'll know when you're ready. There will probably also be signs and synchronicities by the divine to let you know. So that's good. All right, so I'd also like to ask, for those that are still flipping between the Queen of Wands and the Empress, ooh, Ace of Wands in reverse just came out quickly. I guess Spirit already knew what I was going to ask. Of course they did. Okay, so for those of you that are dipping back and forth between feeling like you are having to continue to fight and defend yourself or others, and then being comfortable, being satisfied, and knowing your worth fully, executing your power, which, by the way, call your power back to you. Call it back. Call all your power, all your energy, all your light back to you right now. Okay? If you work with archangels like I do, talk to Archangel Michael. Ask him to surround you with his fiery ring of protection and to use his sword to cut any cords, break any chains that are trying to cling to you that are not for your highest and greatest good. And then try to visualize that if you can. Not everybody can. If you do meditation, it'll help you with this, which helps you manifest. It also helps just with general well-being. So yeah. But we got here the Ace of Wands in reverse, and then the Four of Wands in reverse just came out too. For some of you, Spirit's telling you to stop focusing on trying to kindle some kind of hot new beginning that you think will lead to a union. That's really, it sounds really harsh, and I'm sorry. If it doesn't apply, it doesn't apply. And I say I'm sorry, not that I'm sorry, but I feel empathy if you were suddenly just got a gut punch. Because I felt for some of you, you did. That doesn't mean that you're not going to have a new beginning. This is just a slightly different group from the Empress we were talking about before, okay? I think for this group where you're still battling, I think if you try to bring somebody in right now, you may not be ready for them. And that could be what this Hierophant and Ten of Cups in reverse over here is also about. Because there's still more healing, perhaps even for you. This Ace of Cups is, again, self-love that you need to learn. Maybe there's some other part, some other lesson you need to learn about. Let's ask Spirit. Spirit, is there another lesson that this part of the collective can have some kind of idea as to prepare themselves for eventually what they think they want as far as their hot new beginning? What can we do now in this healing, in this acceptance, to focus on ourselves, right? I'm speaking generally collective here. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Stop focusing on failed investments for some of you. That could be people, it could be material, it could be projects that you thought was going to benefit you in some way. So then what can they do instead, Spirit? Instead of focusing on these investments or people that were time wasters, or perhaps for some of you I'm getting that whoever you think is your Four of Wands is your hot new beginning is actually wasting your time. They're not a good investment. Yeah, Eight of Wands in reverse. Some of you actually need to cut off communication and do it quickly. I don't know who that's for. It doesn't feel like the general collective here. But for some of you, you're actually, you're about to start not even a new karmic cycle, but you could give yourself a Tower moment. I'm sensing the Tower really strong here. Oh no, but we pulled the Wheel of Fortune. Right. So this is a new karmic cycle. I think for some of you, I just picked up that you might be thinking about secretly going back to this Prince of Wands character. That is not for everyone. And it's possible that's why this is not going to work. If you think you've invested so much time in this, you've communicated a lot, but you feel like you're at a standstill, like you just so badly wanted this union, you wanted to create a life with this person. They used to bring you a lot of passion, but now it's like some of you are realizing you're not even actually attracted to that type of person anymore. Some of you haven't figured it out yet, and this could be the end of the cycle that creates a new cycle. Some of you have to get your Tower moment. Some of you have to learn the hard way, and you're going to keep going back to this person until you figure it out. Because the divine, they're telling you, no, do not pass go. This is not a way forward. You cannot build a stable foundation with this person, or with this spiritual group, or with this friend or sibling, or heck, it could be somebody you travel with that was like your adventure buddy. For somebody I'm picking up, like somebody who used to be a great travel companion, but they came with a lot of issues. Why am I thinking of, oh God, what is that guy's name? Zach something. Oh man. Anyways, the guy from the Hangover movies, you know, the one with the dog, the one that's kind of odd. Totally my type of people, by the way. I cannot think of his name right now, but that's coming up. Like just like an annoying, obnoxious kind of little brother type, yet has a lot to offer, but it's like it's so far and few between that it's not really worth the risk to take the journey. I mean, we all know how the Hangover movies end, right? Like we know how they start. Like enough said. Anyways, that's a karmic lesson for somebody. For some of you, it's not the way forward, but some of you got to learn the hard way. And Spirit's telling you that until you let go, you're not going to be able to find this in your life. And for some of you, you have something waiting for you. Let's not forget the Lovers. Also, let you know that if you are this Empress, right, or you're the Queen of Wands who keeps ascending to the Empress and then going back to the Queen of Wands, know that if you keep pursuing this karmic cycle, not only will you possibly risk losing your Empress status, and I don't say this to be like all cliquey and stuff. I say this because it's about spiritual evolution and soul growth. If we want our abundance, if we want our greatest blessings and we want to stay on our path that creates that, and we're not talking about material, we're talking about spiritual wealth here. We're talking about unconditional love here, okay? With the self, with spirit, with others, all of our greatest blessings, you have to overcome your karmic cycles. So not only do you risk staying out of your Empress, or if you are an Empress and you think you're being smart and calculating like the Queen of Swords I'm picking up, in keeping this person in the background as an option, which by the way is disrespectful also, not just to yourself but to others. Spirit's wanting to say. Jesus, Spirit. Sorry, Jesus. Anyways, you risk knocking yourself into the Prince of Wands, Knight of Wands, because then you have decided that options are the energy that you resonate with. So remember, we are what we associate with. If you've had a taste of freedom, of divine love within yourself through Spirit, and you get a hint of it being out there for you, wouldn't you rather take a leap of faith towards that than trying to hide away and conform to something that you already know hasn't made you happy? I know what I'd choose, but that's me. I've learned my lessons the hard way, and I'm sure I'll still continue to learn hard lessons throughout my life, but I have cleared a lot of my karma, and I have done a lot of intensive inner work throughout my life. It's part of my soul's journey in this lifetime. So, Spirit's telling you that you need to stop whatever this is, that even, again, just like this Prince of Wands, or Knight of Wands, whatever you want to call it, for those that thought that no one's watching, same applies to you, Empress. Same applies to you, Queen of Wands. Same applies to all of us. And it's not about being shamed into good behavior. No, that's actually a Christian modality that has nothing to do with universal law. And I don't mean any disrespect to Christians, but there's stigma and there's hatred and there's dogma and other things that are out of balance in every single creed, okay? Because it's created by man. And if you are a Christian, you know that men are imperfect, correct? Man, humans. Five of Cups. Yeah, this will only lead to regret. Wow. And we have the Two of Cups. So, I don't know about y'all, but I would rather go for Two of Cups in this situation. If you knew what was coming for you around the corner, if you knew, you would not stay where you're at. Because this is ultimate divine love. This is the highest love. that you have a chance at. If you can get out of your despondency, if you can get out of your despair with the Five of Cups here, if you can focus on your blessings and how far you have come, this is around the corner for you. How much faith do you have in the process, in yourself, and the divine? Ask yourself that. Now ask yourself, how much faith do you have in this situation or person from the past? I just got chills the back of my head. So some of y'all just had a realization, and I'm grateful for that. Wow. Queen of Swords in reverse. Get another card on this. And the King of Swords. Whoo! Wow. Okay. There's a few different messages coming through on that one. You know, I thought we'd talk more about spiritual things in this, and it's all relative. It's all spiritual and it's all materialistic. It's all the same, right? It's all integrated, as above, so below, correct? The law of correspondences. Universal law. What we have inside is represented in our outsides, right? So I'm getting that the first thing I had was someone didn't like what I had to say and they want to chew me out. And that's fine. I understand. I totally get it. Just know that anybody that projects any harm to me, I am protected divinely. And also I transmute energy because I've learned how to turn my greatest haters into my greatest fans by them expelling negative energy towards me and me turning it into positive abundance. And no, nobody can steal that from you if you learn how to do that. You know how to protect yourself, and you are on the spiritual path, and you are living integrally, and you are following divine law. Just keep focusing on yourself, okay? Having an open heart and open mind, but know that you are on the right path if you can trust it. And this is all about truth here. Swords are truth. We also have the Justice in reverse here. It's possible for some of you this has to do with the courts. With the strong air influence now, I'm picking up on a certain amount of you. Some of you, this is a divorce or separation you're going through with the same suit here. King and Queen of Swords are both divine counterparts. That's the second message I had coming through. That doesn't mean it was the highest spiritual love, by the way. It just means that it was a divine counterpart, right? So Emperor and Empress is like the highest spiritual love you can find in any of the mutual kings and queens, or kings and kings and queens, however you want to put it, are also divine counterparts. But they are, it's like a deep soul bond, but not the deepest. Does that make sense? Right. Okay. And those are... remember that divine counterparts can also become karmic, okay? So we see this with some of you who are going through a divorce or separation, which this particular sword, this particular couple, is known to be the divorced couple, okay? For some of you, you represent this King of Swords, and the Queen of Swords is the person you're leaving behind. I'm starting to pick up on another group here. So I feel like if you were part of this fiery energy, I hope that you found what you were looking for. If you have anything you'd like to contribute in the comments, you are always welcome, or you can just drop a heart emoji. It helps me with the algorithm, and it helps me grow this community, which I deeply adore. Okay? I'd love to keep showing up like this for everyone, and when my content circulates by a like, comment, or subscribe, well then, I get to create more, okay? So I deeply appreciate it. If you don't want to hang around, here's your chance to cut out. Speaking of cutting out, that's what this King of Swords is doing. Cutting out a Queen of Swords in reverse. And a Queen of Swords in reverse is somebody who is verbally unkind and harsh with their words, malicious even, somebody who gaslights somebody. And again, gaslighting is when somebody makes you think your reality is not your reality, right? And there is a difference here. I want to, this is going to trip people up, but I've been very introspective on this in my life for my own reasons. If you want to know more, go to my advocacy playlist. With gaslighting, it's tricky because typically the people who are gaslighting you have actually lived a lie for so long, or lived in delusion so long, or have lied so much that they believe their own lies, right? And it's usually because they're off telling other people mistruths to sway a certain narrative, right? That's common with a certain personality type, which I'm not going to use that word, not because I have any empathy for them, but because I personally have experienced them my whole life, and I don't give them more attention than they deserve, which is all they really want is supply, right? So this is somebody who's somewhat parasitic, who also could be emotionally manipulative with their words. Maybe they know how to tell you the right things, say the right things. You get the point, right? And this could be masculine, it could be feminine, it could be anything, anyone, right? But the King of Swords is typically, it's not only somebody who knows how to cut something out of their life, like you usually also have to graduate to the King of Swords to be able to wield that kind of divine truth, that divine power, because, I mean, he is holding the sword of truth here that we see in the Ace of Swords. And now that hasn't come out in the reading, but I would not be surprised if it did. That is the truth, Ace of Swords. No, it did come out. It was in the middle of the deck. I take that back. Excuse me. I just didn't put it on the table. So there's some kind of truth here. If you represent this King of Swords, you were able to cut something out here. I'm going to switch to my Herb Crafters Tarot, because I feel like this is a different energy and I want to use a different deck. I have told people before, with this deck, the Hayas are pages, the Adelitas are knights, the Madres are queens, and the Curanderas are kings. It is a Latin-based deck, and each card has a different plant that is represented, which I love. And if I feel called to speak on the herb or the picture, I will. That usually means it's important for somebody. And as I'm finishing up with the Cosmic Tarot, the Six of Swords is on the bottom. So this is about moving into calmer waters. Spirit is guiding you out of this situation, King of Swords. They're guiding you out of this situation. I'd like to take a deep breath again, just to kind of break up the reading. So I feel like after this group, unless we tie it back to another one, we'll probably be concluding. So the next half hour or so, I'd have to say. Thank you if you're still here. Again, appreciate all your support, even if it's silent, energetic support. I really appreciate it. I do pick up on your energy. Those of us that are energy workers understand that. If you're feeling generous, you don't even have to hit the like button. Just send love to the community if you'd like, you know. You don't have to, though. Yeah, so let's all take a deep breath. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to cleanse out the energies with the spell. All right. Let's see where we're at here. What would you like to tell me? Whoa, too many cards and upside down. That was interesting. I guess we'll take those. I kind of feel called to pull some Cosmic Energy Oracle to go with this real quick. I do follow my guidance, but real quick, the cards that came out was the Four of Cups in reverse and the Haya of Air. So that's the Page of Swords. that energy, I am getting that you're no longer ignoring a divine blessing when it comes to the foundations of your emotional nature. That you have watched somebody else also take for granted all they had and all that was available to give. Perhaps you stopped giving and started just sitting back at the end of this relationship. And I do feel like it's a relationship. For some of you, it could be a friendship or a long-term coworker or a business partner. But I really feel like with that King of Swords and the Queen of Swords in reverse, that this is about the end of a union, which you could be currently ending, thinking about ending, or going through. And I'm not giving advice to do that. It's just what I'm getting. Yeah, because I'm going to get the Haya of Fire, which is the Page of Wands. That can represent kind of wanting a new beginning. Like maybe something you have begun is creating a new passionate beginning for you, but maybe you focused on your passion projects in order to kind of cope with this, and it allowed you to kind of sit back and observe, and that's how you perhaps realized this person you were with was just not a grateful person, and you're done with it. Yeah, I just pulled the Devil card. So they are very karmic, and not willing to change. There's something that's they're stuck in that is not good for them, for some of you. Wow, and then we get the third page, Haya of Earth, so Page of Pentacles. You're slowly working towards something else, something that could bring you some kind of material stability. This is a new project. This is very new energy. So for some of you, this is like right after a separation, or it's skills that you're starting to adapt in this new cycle during this like stagnated union that you're in, or it's right after you have ended this union and moved forward in your life path. I did say I wanted to pull some cosmic energy oracle. I follow where I'm divinely guided, and I was divinely guided to pull that mid-spread. Not spread, wow, that one just popped out. Courage with the eagle on it. Courage lies within you. You have the power to overcome anything. For some of you, you haven't made a move yet on this new beginning, on this new project, because you're not sure if you can pull it off, and it could have something to do with this Queen of Swords energy. If they are tearing you down constantly, messing with your mind. You know, like I said, again, these people who gaslight and do all that, I think where I was going with that is that they legitimately feel like victims because they have convinced themselves and everybody else, they've built up this entire identity, the ego, right? Based on false words about all parties involved. Because technically when those kinds of people are tearing somebody down, they're building themselves up to look better, right? Or to look like the ones that are suffering while they're actually trying to cover, and they're projecting what they're actually doing to you. So they genuinely convince themselves that their reality is their reality, which is delusional, okay? And I'm not a medical or mental health professional, but I am an advocate. I am a guide. So this is not medical advice. And I'm not telling you that whoever you're with is delusional. I'm just saying that this archetype and these kinds of people tend to have those character traits. But it does not apply to everybody, and do not take it if it doesn't fit. But for those of you that have had somebody, and this could also represent a parent, right? It's more likely a union, but for a few of you, it could be a parent figure. It could be a mother specifically, or an aunt, or grandma, or a sibling who just never seems to support you, always tears you down. But the thing is that when people are often unsatisfied with their life, and they're not willing to look at their shadow, they're not willing to do the work, they try to make everyone in their lives look bad because they are consumed by the negative themselves all the time. And when you're around somebody, especially if you're in union with somebody like that, or you're a family member, or you're, say, a roommate or a business partner, somebody you have to deal with intimately in some way or consistently, you have to have a strong moral character in order to not be affected by that. And even, especially people with strong moral characters are tested to deal with these people. And it's when you're in a commitment with, there's this whole level of detangling the energy and removing oneself, and it can make it very difficult to not be in choppy waters. Remember, we saw the Six of Swords earlier. Spirit is moving you into calmer waters, and I think they're trying to tell you to have courage in this new passionate path you want to go on. Something small that you're building has the potential, okay? Yeah, have gratitude. That will help raise you up out of these negative thoughts, whether they're caused by others or it's the effect of trauma, or you feel like maybe you're lacking confidence, and these things can cause that. But here it says, be grateful for every moment, keep a heart of gratitude. And it's true, and it's not about shaming you or being delusional yourself, okay? There is the law of assumption. That's a universal law you can use to trick your brain into manifesting. But I mean, that's how anybody does something well, right? They convince themselves they can do it, they keep trying, and then eventually they do it, right? Typically, that's how it goes. Well, the same thing can be with gratitude. The more gratitude you express, the more gratitude you see. The more you see, the more you feel, the more you acknowledge, the more you experience. Simple law of attraction. So have gratitude. At least one thing a day you can find to be grateful about that's in your life. Every day. It's not that difficult to do. I mean, it can be hard the first time, but there's something, okay? And eventually it gets to a point where it's like you want to be more grateful because you're feeling the positive effects of that, right? And then right as I was saying that, I pulled the Universal Wisdom Oracle card. It says here, the universe is full of wisdom, seek its guidance. So for some of you who are sensitive, like me, part of the collective that pick up on signs and synchronicities, the universe is trying to tell you something. And if you can find a way to find some enjoyment from your life, it's going to give you courage to follow down the path that is going to make you happy. I feel like that's all we needed from the Oracle. Let's go back to the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I will take a picture of some of the cards from these readings and use it as my pinned image. So you'll get to see some of them, but for those of you that wanted to know, the gratitude card has four butterflies at the top, and then a hand holding a huge heart, and there's more butterflies inside the heart, and it's glowing at the base of the heart, and this person is holding it above the horizon of an ocean. Ocean runs deep, right? And so does gratitude. And the Universal Wisdom card is like a forest and sunset, deep, almost nighttime sky with trees over the water, pine trees creating a nice little silhouette. And then there's this blue swirly light that goes up to the sky. Looks very cosmic. Not quite like a nebula, but it's got that galactic essence about it. You know, probably to represent spirit, universal wisdom, source consciousness. So you're ascending to something here on your path, especially with the eagle being represented here on the courage card. You're ascending to something. And it could also be creating more gratitude for some of you. Excuse me, I'm going to have a little tea for a second. If you're interested in checking out more of the collective readings, I always link that playlist at the end and in the description box. It's called Divine With Me, just like the music playlist. Alright, I just pulled the Seven of Air in reverse. So that's the Seven of Swords in reverse. Oh, Ace of Cups in reverse. We have to get a little more information. I feel like this is a side group. Four of Pentacles. For some of you, you cannot fulfill your heart's desire until you let go of how somebody let go of you. For some of you, this is a side message that somebody feels like someone ghosted them. And I just pulled the Emperor in reverse. So either it's made you feel like an Emperor in reverse, or it was an Emperor in reverse energy, which is not a good energy. That's an extremely controlling, dominant, abusive person who does abuse their power. It can also represent a father figure for some. We pull the Strength card in reverse. Wow. For those of you that this is more about love and like moving forward, if you want to move forward on your passion projects and whatever it is that you're slowly building, you have to let go of how people have failed you in the past, how people have made you feel like you can't be in your own authority, where you felt like a victim, like you weren't strong, which made you feel like you didn't have courage. You got to let it go. You got to surrender it. You got to ask for the healing. For some of you, you have walked away from somebody that was super controlling. Again, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship, but we are talking about the King and Queen of Swords here as the energy for this group. Yeah, Ace of Cups in reverse. Remember, we got it earlier with the other group, but it was upright. This is about not taking care of yourself. Or it's possible you're holding on to some kind of material foundation. For some of you, that's true, and you want to speak up about it, but you're not sure how. The Magician. The Nine of Wands. Or Nine of Fire in this deck. Nine of Pentacles in reverse. The Hermit. Okay, very small group of you. I just want to say my condolences to you for what you have been through. I see you, I feel you, I sense your pain. This music is very appropriate for the mood I'm picking up on. The music can oftentimes be synchronistic to the read. That happens a lot in my readings. That's one reason why I take the risk of playing music in my readings, is because I divine a lot through music. I receive messages through music a lot. Not like I hear people talking to me, okay? It's not like that. So if anybody's thinking that, you need to figure out how, just no, that's not what that is at all. If you pick up on signs and synchronicities, most people are on the spiritual path who have gone through awakenings, going through awakenings, or are psychic in some way. You tend to notice certain things, like certain lyrics will pop out, certain moods, certain energies. If it reminds you of a person, it's possible that it's from that person energetically. Does that make sense? So oftentimes I do set the intention that if Spirit wants to give us music that represents the energy, that they are welcome to do so for the highest and greatest good, right? Anyways, I'm stalling because I feel like whoever this small group is wow. Wow, you have a hard time communicating yourself. You've been through a lot. You don't talk about your emotions very well, or you're still in a situation where you can't communicate. There is always help for you. You just have to find a door. Some of you need to find a door, and that's not to scare anybody, but the energy I'm picking up here, and it doesn't matter what gender you are, okay? People get mistreated in all walks of life, okay? But whoever this is here, I feel like it has to do with the Emperor in reverse. And this could be apparent for some. And again, it doesn't matter if some of you I'm picking up are in your 20s, living with your parents, some of you. It doesn't matter if you're an adult. If you're still experiencing an abusive household, find a way out. Find a way out. It doesn't mean that you are not experiencing it because you're an adult. No, in fact, these paradigms tend to go on for life, and you have to have the strength to decide what is best for you. And that is what this is talking about here. Whatever you went through pushed you into hermit mode, like you are in deep seclusion. You don't feel independent. You feel like you are wounded. That has been a long battle that you have fought really hard. But Spirit here with the Magician is telling you that you have everything you need. You have everything you need to move forward, okay? Wow, somebody doesn't like me. That's okay. You know what? I pick up on energies that other people are going through. So, like, some people are going to try to discredit you on your path. They're going to try to twist truths to fit their narratives. Yet again, going back to the Queen of Swords energy. For some of you, this is something you've experienced in the past. Possibly an Emperor in reverse father type and a Queen of Swords in reverse mother type. Adelita of Earth. This is Knight of Pentacles. Along with, I had pulled the Six of Pentacles in reverse. For some of you, it's about money. It's about maybe somebody loaned you something to help you, and now they're using it to try to control you, your movements. It's put you into not a great situation, but you're still slowly moving forward with something. You're also being protected. You have a guide here. You have a quote-unquote guardian angel here. Seven of Cups in reverse. One that's trying to help you out of the illusion that these people or energies have cast. Because when you don't know what your reality is, you can't really trust yourself. And that's how people can control you if they are this terrible caricature, okay? So it's important to find clarity, but someone's trying to guide you. Spirit's trying to show you, and I think they're trying to tell you to focus on these things. And then I pull the High Priestess. Interesting. For some of you, they want you to know that your secrets are safe. I don't know what that has to do with, okay? I may be psychic, clairvoyant, claircognizant, all the clairs, but I don't know your secrets. I am a High Priestess, but I don't know your secrets, okay? I'm a Pisces. Anyways, that's the High Priestess card. For some of you that were worried, I just picked up if somebody's worried I'm going to say something in this reading. I'm going to use my discernment, so don't worry, okay? Just take a deep breath. It sounds like for some of you, you could use some kind of professional guidance to help you sort this out. And that could be one thing that Spirit is trying to guide you to. For some of you, it is your spiritual community, or you need to find a spiritual community that resonates with you, that can give you some form of safety in your life. Perhaps you can, if you're, say, Christian, again, non-denominational channel, okay? If you are Christian, perhaps your church has some kind of volunteer thing they do. You can go spend some time out of your environment by giving your time to a church and their activities. It could be something as simple as a pancake breakfast, right? Or if it's not a church, it's something you could do in your community. And it doesn't matter what your situation is. When you go to volunteer, you're doing something of service, which is not only creating more good karma for yourself, but it's taking you outside of your environment and exposing yourself to the energy, to the frequency of others who also want to do well in this world. And it's possible, I'm picking up for somebody, you will meet somebody who is going to help mentor you out of this situation. Okay? That's for somebody. And if you don't meet a physical person, that doesn't mean that you're not being guided. Remember that spirit is always with us. Okay? Six of Cups. You could end up reconnecting with a childhood friend or lover, or something that used to make you feel nostalgic, that used to make you feel balanced emotionally. Again, we go back to transmuting through creativity, right? And this is a different group. So yeah, we had Six of Cups in reverse, but that was a different energy. So for some of you, maybe reconnecting with someone from your past, or for some of you, this person that you come into contact with, or this energy that leads you into safer passages, is going to lead you to a new divine love that is a soulmate from the past in a different lifetime. Somebody you have experienced life with, someone that you are currently in alignment with, or as you journey through into safer passages, you're going to find this. For some of you, I'm picking back up on this 20 age range, 20s. This could be somebody you went to school with. Who knows? Maybe they're actually looking for a roommate. Maybe they're looking for an activity partner. And maybe y'all used to have a lot of fun together. Or whoever you meet, again, through this volunteer work or this activity outside of your home, is going to reconnect you with your inner child. It's going to give you a sense of joy that's going to get these projects moving, because you got to get the energy moving and start creating a plan. That's another thing with the Knight of Pentacles that we had, is start creating a plan. Those of you that are stuck in these energies still, create a plan, okay? I'm going to kind of pull out of this group here. I wanted to say that you are seen, you are heard, you are felt, and you matter. And there is help for you. You can find it, okay? And do not tell these people your plans if they are this energy. I don't care how much they try to convince you. Just, keep your head down and find reasons to not be in that environment that are healthy if you are experiencing any kind of abusive dynamic, whether it's whatever situation, okay? Know that there is help for you. I just felt like I had to really say that for somebody. And I know this isn't stereotypical, but I feel like it's for masculine, okay? There's somebody particular that I'm getting a side message. Let you know that it doesn't make you any less of a man, no matter what age you are, if you have to walk away from something that is hurting you. You are just as valuable as a feminine as far as your self-care, self-worth goes. Okay? Okay. Moving on. Curandera of Earth. So this is King of Pentacles. For some of you, let's go back to this group here, the King of Swords energy. Whatever you want to work on here with the Page of Pentacles that you are inspired to do with the Page of Wands, that you have studied here with the Page of Swords. Page of Swords here and then the King of Swords dynamic. It seems like this is something that you have learned, something you have studied, that you're kind of good at, that you're just learning how to work with. Could be a new hobby or skill. And you're building something with it. And for those of you in that situation who are choosing to focus on what you can create instead of what you're leaving behind, you're going to become very successful at it. It's going to bring you a lot of wealth, prosperity, or sustainability. It's going to bring you some healing with the Four of Swords. Interesting. I'm getting a side message now about a Queen of Cups in reverse and Ten of Cups in reverse. It has to do with this group. I feel like it's a distraction for some of you. I don't know what that means, but for some of you, you feel like this is a distraction, or it is, or you're focusing on it instead of what you're building here, and it could become a block. Yeah, Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's making it hard for you to focus or continue the work. What advice do you have here, Spirit, for this group? Two of Swords in reverse. Put down your block so you can make a decision. The Empress in reverse. Perhaps it's how you're perceiving this energy. Maybe you're perceiving them as a false Empress and it's creating an unnecessary block. Maybe it's somebody you work with for some of you. It's possible somebody was very emotionally manipulative, offered you the world, turned out not to be everything you wanted, or you had something with this person. So for some of you who are thinking about a person from the past, if this is resonating with you at this exact moment, this message is for you, because this is a side message. If you're thinking about a water sign specifically from the past, this is not the way. For others of you, you have a skewed perspective of this person. What does this have to do with anything, Spirit? The Lovers. Interesting. It's about choices. This is about union. Yet again, we were talking about the Lovers before. Very side message. Some of you are in a third-party relationship. For those of you that are thinking about going back to it, or you're thinking about leaving one situation and then going into this one from the past, you think it'll give you a sense of union. What does Spirit have to say? But don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons that I as a human could judge that, but that's not what... It's a Knight of Wands in reverse. Do you not remember in the last reading? Sorry, that was condescending. I didn't mean it that way, but I always am accountable. Apologies. I try to be a bitch in the right way. You know what I mean? So, anyways, Knight of Wands was in reverse earlier, so this particular group right here is connected to the first group. Okay, so I knew that it's possible that this energy would reconnect, and for some parts of the collective it does. Which means that whoever from the first reading, and if this is, if you're checking out the shorter form version of this, go back and check out the other parts of this long form reading in the other videos when I publish. You'll know what I'm talking about. They're all found in the playlist. But yeah, some of you who represent the Queen of Cups, I'm sorry, not the Queen of Cups, that represent, maybe some of you are a Queen of Cups, I was just picking up. Queen of Wands, teetering on to Empress, the one that was thinking of going back to this Knight of Wands in secret. You're still thinking about it. You're still getting distracted from these things you're building. For some of you, very select few of you, you're just ending a union, you're considering ending a union, or you're considering entering a karmic cycle again with this person from the past. Now I'm picking up another message for a side group here. You are the Queen of Cups. Because I did pick up on a Queen of Cups energy earlier when I meant to speak on the Queen of Wands. Interesting. This is connecting to the Queen of Wands, Empress energy. 1 second while I figure out what Spirit's trying to tell me here. So there's somebody in this group that is posing as a Queen of Wands or Empress, but they're actually a Queen of Cups in reverse and an Empress in reverse. So that's a side message for somebody. Temperance, balance, 5 of Cups. Yeah. Somebody who's in deep regret, remorse. It's possible. How does this connect, Spirit? 8 of Swords. Okay, I don't typically go into karmic energies. No offense to this Queen of Cups in reverse, but I don't appreciate you barging in on this reading because that's what's happening here. I was getting to somewhere important, and that's probably why this energy took over. But somebody from the past here who's actually a Knight of Wands, but this is going to get really complicated. Someone likes to manipulate energy. We're just going to say that, and that could be tied to the Magician over here. So whoever identifies as the King of Swords, this energy is still in your energy, and they're trying to do works on you. You're tempted by them because they do actually represent the Knight of Wands in reverse, but they're cloaking as a Queen of Wands or an Empress. They're actually a Queen of Cups in reverse and an Empress in reverse. Okay? So they're trying to knock you out of your balance because they see that you are possibly entering a new union, something that's going to bring you a lot of peace, something that's highly spiritual, guarded, protected, and under divine timing. So there's someone, if you are the King of Swords I'm picking up specifically, there's somebody from your past that you have considered going back to that is trying to cloak themselves in your energy and emotionally manipulate. For some of you, this is a small amount of you, and I hate saying this because of already how much shade witches get, but somebody is trying to work magic on you, trying to either emotionally manipulate you or use spellcraft in a negative way. Now listen, I want y'all to know that most people who do this kind of stuff from an emotionally mature or broken place aren't actually practitioners. And I'm really tired of practitioners who work in the light, who keep a balance, who work with the divine, being lumped in with people who aren't actually practitioners of the craft, don't actually understand universal law or energies or how to have an ethical foundation in your craft. It's often people who are trying to hire other practitioners who don't work in the light, and that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but I have my own opinion, but I'm not here to put judgment on those people. I'm looking at the people who are hiring practitioners who work in the dark to affect other people. Anything that is taking consent away from any people, I don't care if it's for love, if it's for money, if it's for vengeance, it doesn't matter. If you're trying to take away someone's consent, it's not okay. My last tarot quest, I think one of the videos I did goes into this topic a lot more. So you may want to check out the week before's message, which was the summer solstice reading. And I think it was for specifically people who are pagan practitioners. So I'm going to continue to break stigmas around the craft and what witches are, because most witches have nothing to do with the devil. The devil is a Christian construct, and I am an animist pagan. So I mean, I believe in the validity of all faiths and all practices. It just depends on your culture and what your soul is supposed to experience in this life. I believe it's all one universal source, many different aspects. Okay? It gets really convoluted and confusing if I go past that. But I just want to say that It is possible to be more than one thing. Okay? Stereotypes, stigmas, they're based usually on public opinion. Okay? And public opinion is formed typically through events or stories. In some cases, gaslighting. Most witches I know do not take the time to focus on other people. They use energy, they use tools to bring about positive change in their own life without dabbling with other people's lives. That's the first thing you learn with the craft, is you don't cause harm against other people. And if you do, you accept the karmic consequences for that in this lifetime or the next. I don't know about y'all, but I worked really hard to clear my karma. You think I'm going to muck it up by going and hexing people? Hell no. Talk about devil. The temptation to do those things is devil-like mind, okay? And most people who do that are ignorant. And I mean that as in they don't know what they're doing. It's cultural appropriation when it comes down to trying to take other people's faiths and beliefs and manipulate other people with it without actually knowing the culture. So just to clear that up, I felt like somebody needed to hear it. And I don't mean to be so stern or cross, but this is something that's really got me fired up lately. It's been coming up a lot. I've been doing my own inner healing. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing, y'all. I know I'm going on a tangent. Thank you if you're still here. Drop a, I don't know, some kind of emoji in the comments. Star. Go ahead and drop a star if you get what I'm saying here. Three of Wands in reverse. It's a lack of growth, okay? We're talking about evolution. I'm not going to go off on that tangent anymore. I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you for hearing me out and my guides, because somebody needed to hear that. This is all about expansion, right? What do you want to expand into? I feel like whoever this karmic energy was really just, they got a pissy attitude, and I'm picking up on it. I'm going to ring my bell. 3, 2, 1. Alright, we're almost at 1 hour 45 minutes, so I think I'm going to wrap this up. Alright, for the King of Swords, you know what is for you and what is not. 6 of Wands. Focus on your success. Focus on what you want to be publicly recognized. If you feel like, again, whatever this new passion project is, it's going to bring you a lot of success, because we had the King of Pentacles here. Don't worry about these people from the past and their efforts, as long as you are sticking to your path, this new path that you have carved out for yourself, that you have some knowledge about. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Even if you're still, if this is about a partnership, even if you're still in union with this person, just take the steps to get out. Spirit is here to guide you into calmer waters. Remember, 6 of Swords. It's going to bring you great success to focus on your path. For some of you, though, there is a union coming in. I did sense that. And this person from the past is not it, okay? We're talking, I'm feeling new energy. I feel like for the King of Swords here, and I'm not even going to talk about the Queen of Swords in reverse. I'm not even going to tap into that energy. I feel like it's kind of tied to this Queen of Cups. It's like a particular type for somebody. You know, and when you've been wounded a lot, you tend to go towards people who are going to keep wounding you until you heal, right? And there was emphasis on healing here with the Four of Swords earlier, like overcoming heartbreak, healing from it, taking time to meditate, to receive downloads, to focus on, again, the way Spirit can guide you to calmer waters is by giving you downloads, by meditating, by going inward. For some of you, you're just at the beginning of this heartbreak with the 3 of Swords. What advice can we give those that are just at the beginning of this heartbreak, this ending? Wow. Ace of Wands upright. Go for what sets your soul on fire. You have a gift of a passionate new beginning. And it starts here with whatever it does make you passionate. Whatever project you started that you're new at, that you're slowly, diligently putting work towards, that you know a little bit about. This is lighting you up. And for some of you, I'm sensing it has to do with a person that is also on this path. I don't know why that's coming. Well, Ace of Wands can be a very desirable new path with somebody. Interesting. Knight of Swords in reverse. Oh, I get it. Haha, don't shoot the messenger. Okay. Some of you don't want to hear this. Yeah, 8 of Cups. You're walking away from any of that. You just don't care. You can't even focus on a new beginning. You don't want to hear it. I get it. I get it. This is what Spirit is saying, though. Okay? They obviously think that this is going to bring you a lot of happiness and joy. Otherwise, it wouldn't be coming up. And for some of you, it's like if you leave behind these karmic energies and you focus on your path, you're going to be able to get out of your head and all these toxic beliefs that these people are blocking you with. It, you know, we can integrate within ourselves when we've been around these kinds of people. And you have to do the healing work. You have to come out of the heartbreak. So obviously, y'all know, like, focus on your passion projects. Walk away from that which is no longer serving you. Also, for some of you, be careful how you're responding to these people. Because if you're still in the situation, remember that you can start reflecting the person that you're with. Okay? And I'm not saying that you're being a toxic person, but again, remember, if we're dealing with karmic partners, we're also their karmic partner, because it's about lessons, right? So the Knight of Swords in reverse is a level below the Queen of Swords in reverse. So don't be throwing out verbal low blows to retaliate against these people. That doesn't make you empowered. In fact, that's just going to create bad karma on top of their bad karma, and it's just continuing a new cycle. And you don't want to carry that into these new projects. You want this fresh energy, this hot new beginning, this new spiritual path, this new direction that you want to forge, which you're already doing here. Spirit's telling you that they are handing this to you. They are supporting you with it. And yeah, some of you, whether you want to hear it or not, there is another person involved here. There is something that is coming along with this new path, whether you're ready to see it or not. It is there. I can feel it in the energy. Can you tell me more about this, Spirit? For those that actually want to hear about this potential. Huh. Well, it's the Queen of Swords upright. Interesting. It's possible that some of you will meet somebody who might kind of remind you of your last partner, but in a positive way. Or it's somebody who has been through divorce or has been through hardships, who has had to battle, had to learn boundaries, had to put up their own swords. So in a lot of ways, it could be somebody that's a lot like you, who's been through a lot of the same things. And it doesn't have to be romantic. So if you're completely opposed to that idea, it could be a friend. It could be a new colleague that you connect with. You know, you don't know. It's for some of you, you might be considering a support group. I'm hearing from Spirit. And perhaps some of you need to go to like a survivors group. You can do this online. You can do it on Zoom. I still recommend people do these things in person because there's a different energy you pick up on with one-on-one engagements, okay? So for some of you, reach out to a support group. You never know who you can meet. You can make a long-term friend, or, you know, you could find that mentor. That could be the community activity we were talking about earlier that could really help you to get you out of your environment. And again, if you're wanting to leave a situation and you haven't, take the steps forward. Spirit's got your back on your new journey, okay? Take the steps. Is there anything else we need to hear about this, Spirit? The Fool, take a leap of faith. This is a brand new beginning. Brand new exciting beginning. Find out what sets your soul on fire and go with that. Don't go with the things that make you angry because they upset you and put you into more karmic cycles. And I know it's easier said than done, but one foot in front of the other, yeah? Interesting. And then I pull the Hanged One or the Hanged Man. Some of you just had an epiphany. Others of you need to reflect on this for a while. Consult your guides, which is understandable. Just remember to not get stuck and unable to move in an awkward position like a long drawn out partnership that isn't for anyone's good. Okay? It's not your responsibility to clear other people's karma or to even figure out why everything went the way it is. If you want to look more into the way and why things went with a particular person, other than doing the inner work, other than having a spiritual path, I always tell people there's no shame in doing talk therapy, okay? You know, having somebody validate your experience when you've experienced this kind of wickedness with especially gaslighting can help you trust yourself, can help you forge ahead. And maybe that's also the community member, the guide, the mentor that can help you is a professional therapist, okay? And there are all kinds of options for different levels of society to do these things. There's different kinds of free programs as well, in the States at least. Sometimes it can take a while to get into the programs, so start now, not later, okay? As soon as you can. And don't focus on how long it could take. Focus on, okay, I got this set, now what am I going to do next? One thing in front of the other, like the Knight of Pentacles, okay? Judgment. Well, as you know, some of you know, I work with a lot of people through spiritual awakenings. So this is Spirit's there to guide you, but also to see what you do. Because they're offering you some new blessings. They want to give you something, but you have to make the choice to transform. Yeah, don't focus on what has not made you stable in the past, which has not given to you equally, or people who are very materialistic. We got the Queen of Pentacles in reverse here. Also, some of you may feel like you can't move forward because you don't have enough to give. And, you know, I feel like this reading is going pretty long. So I'm going to wrap this up here soon. And if you'd like a personal, you can book with me, or you can email me and ask for a pre-recorded private audio recording. And if those of you prefer video style, eventually I will be doing that again. I'm currently looking into getting a backup drive, so as soon as I can figure that out, I will be doing videos again occasionally, but I do prefer the ASMR style. So yeah, don't focus on what has destabilized you, focus on what can bring you new joy here with the Page of Cups. Some kind of creative project, some kind of like, you know, like what is something from whoa, somebody doesn't want to talk about this. Hold on one sec. Whoa. Someone straight up wants to, wow, sorry, one moment. Someone straight up tried to shut down my throat chakra. Some of you don't want to think about your childhood, and I understand that's probably some healing you could use. This could be part of your awakening. If you're going through a spiritual awakening, you're being faced with memories of your childhood, and that's difficult. Again, a professional can help you through that, okay? You can learn all kinds of techniques that can make your quality of life better. But yeah, I was going to say, again, transmuting painful energy or stuck energy by acting through creativity. I talk a lot about this in my community here, okay? So keep transmuting the energy. This new project. Oh, wait, and I just realized we just got. Is this? Yeah, this is the final page. We have all 4 pages here. This is a brand new learning experience for some of you. It's a new start in life, and you are very much in the mode of the student, but you also have mastered some things in your life as the King of Swords. You are very strong and intelligent, and you know what is just, you know what is fair, you speak the truth. Perhaps you part of your new path is sharing your truth with others. Maybe you want to lead a group for others who have survived something that you've gone through, or you want to lead a community project. That could be this new project here that emotionally fulfills you.